All right, we are live. It's Monday, 11:17 Pacific Standard Time. That would be, for those of you that are not familiar with time zones, that's your Pacific Standard Time. That's on the west coast of the USA. And tonight's live stream, it's something that I've been going through, working through, and working out some of my own thinking about going into retirement. And a few weeks ago, I broke it all down into four different segments. That was related to work, finances, relationships, and health. And this is a continuation of part three. And here's the data and here's the statistics. And you read the thumbnail, the best relationships for retirement. And I just have a quick question. What is it, and what is the best relationship for retirement? And I think to better understand that, I am in that conversation, I am removing romantic relationships out of that category just for the time being. And maybe we'll touch back on that here shortly. So that's where we're going tonight. Glad you're here. Throw something in the chat. Tell me where you are, where are you located. Put your state in the chat when you hear this. That'd be much appreciated. Otherwise, pretty much I am solving my own problems. How do I go into retirement living better than I am today? In the last 3 years, from 22 to 23 to 24, I've earned over $400,000 as a W-2 employee, and I am starting from zero. This is 2025. I'll end up having a decent year, but going back into future years ahead, I am full charge in planning my future retirement. And if you're my age, 50 or older, and you're trying to figure out what to do next, or you have grave concern about where you are currently, fear not, because there are tools and resources and thoughts and ideas that can help settle and ease some of the worry in your mind. So yeah, thanks again for joining. I believe the greatest challenge that we have before us is the unwillingness to change out of fear. And if that is you, stay along for the ride, and maybe we could develop a community of people who are looking forward and being strategic to change our lives. I've always found it to be beneficial when I'm hanging around a group of people and we're moving in a similar direction, even when there's opposition. So if you're a sports fan like I am, all sorts of sports, just take football, for example. You have whoever has the ball is the offense, and whoever's trying to stop the offense would be called the defense. So whatever team you're on, sometimes you got to play offense and defense, but at least you're doing it with a group of people. So if you're in that group, you're in that older age category, and you need to get with a group of people who are like-minded, who are working hard to make a positive impact and a positive change in their life, I think this is the place for you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Maxwell. Hey, Maxwell. He's Maxwell from Maryland. He's doing some financial things out in his neck of the woods. Been a financial professional for like 15 years or something, and he's got some great resources and some not great resources, but also positive and encouraging words. So if you're in that neck of the woods, feel free to reach out to him. I was doing some research because in part 3 of the videos, you can just find it back in my channel page, part 3. I called and I referred to relationships being a business. And I took love out of that context and just strictly said a relationship is a business, because both sides know what the obligations are. I did some additional research today, went to And you can see it on the screen there. Went to a couple of different sites, and I used Microsoft Copilot to do the basic research just because I wanted the strict data. I wanted the strict data that I could share with you guys and try to boil this down to just a few minutes of your time. I will say this though. This is not a quick hit, quick bite, or a small bite for a dopamine hit. This will be work. And the work that we have to do first is up here in our minds, because that's where it all starts. It starts in your mind. You tell your mind what you want it to think, and then you put in the effort and the actions to make your mind believe what you're saying. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so what are the best relationships according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and also a couple other things that are on the screen here. Let's see, breakdown of so I did a couple of queries, and you can see them on the screen there. This one here, the breakdown of average earnings in 2024. So we have median earnings and average earnings. Your average earnings, and this is going to be broken up by male and female. Your average earnings for males is $65,572, and your average earnings for females is $54,236. And this is just the information by the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, BLS, and also the Census Bureau. Now, if you're not necessarily familiar with the word average or mean, average would be take your highest number and your lowest number and divide it. So if you have 11 numbers, highest and lowest, add them all up, divide it by 11. That would be your average. The problem with that is it skews the number on the low end. So you take a person, you take the 10 richest men in the world, richest men and women in the world, and there's, maybe there's 1,000. We'll use 1,000. Divide that by the averaging, divide that by the total population of the world, and you'll have you'll have a higher number than what is truly existing out there. The mean number, the mean, MEAN, really represents the largest segment and data group. And that's the number that we want to pay attention to, because that more closely reflects your next door neighbor. Does that make sense? That's the mean. I don't want to work on averages. I want to work on the mean because that's closer to myself and my neighbors. So if we look at the chart here, the median, so the median weekly earnings, so this is the bulk of the group, weekly earns about $1,261. And for women, that's $1,043. Now, we could argue the disparity from the two different genders. However, that's not the point of this. The point of this is statistical data shows and says that men are earning $1,261 per week and women $1,043 per week, and that is the median. So that is the largest group within that sector. That's what that's the earnings. And I'm not sure how you feel about that, which it really doesn't matter how you feel about that, because the numbers are the numbers. So feel however you want to feel about the numbers, but whether you feel good or defeated in a certain way, you still can take action. And first place is in our minds. So change your minds, change your habits, change your life. And for the record, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a CFP. I'm one guy just solving my own problems. I am solving for X. How do I walk into retirement not eating government cheese and drinking powdered milk? So then, if we're looking at these numbers right here, right? These numbers right here. So if we just continue to look at these and go on any AI app, go anywhere and just take a peek for yourself. As we move our way down and we're looking at median, annual, and average annual for men and women at 65 plus. The median for men is 35,000 and the average is 58. The median for women is 29,000 and the average is 44. So again, average, take your high numbers and your lowest numbers, add them all up and take the divided by the number, divided by the count, and there's your average. The median is the largest group within that sector. What do they earn? I think what this really says and tells us is pretty telling, just from the sense of when we walk into retirement, and if we're a part of the mean today, what is and what should our expectations be if we're starting later in life? What do you think your expectations should be if we're starting later in life and you're average, or if you're between the mean and the average? Let's just say it that way. So for males, between 35,000 and 58,000, females 29,000 and 44,000. Let's just say you're somewhere in that range. Somewhere in that range. What should we expect? Well, we should expect what we already know. We're going to fall into that range. And what's more interesting and more concerning is this. If we consider what will our retirement years cost us, that's a different number altogether, and a number that we want to pay attention to. So we have the income side and we have the expense side. Anytime your expenses surpass your income side, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. All right, so as we move down the sheet here, here's another part. Expenses. Your expenses, the breakdown on expenses. That there is concerning, because on average, there is going to be a group of us that will not earn enough in retirement years, so much to the point that government cheese and powdered milk may be your only option. It may be your only option. So if we're looking at the expenses breakdown, right here in this line item, the expenses breakdown. So according to the BLS, Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and Retire Guide, retirees spend about $43.45 per month, $4,345 per month. Housing is about 33% at $17,000. Food 13% at $6,800 per year. $6,800 per year. Some people I know eat out that much at restaurants. Healthcare, and you have transportation and entertainment and miscellaneous. So then, let's look at some key insights. Generally, for the most part, and I'll tie this back into the best relationship for retirement, and we're removing love from that just for a second. For the most part, most people will barely cover their expenses or significantly not have enough. So if you're short month in and month out by 10%, well, let's say 5%. We'll use 5% as the number. Well, if you're short this month 5% and next month 5%, there's a compounding effect there. You're just going to become short, and at some point, you're going to be way in over your head with your after work life living expenses. Look, there's plenty. Again, I'm not your financial planner. There's plenty of people out there. Don't be embarrassed to go talk to somebody. You got to lay out the cards. You got to lay them out the way they are and get connected and put yourself in a group of other people who are trying to do better. Don't hang out with another broke person who, when they look at retirement, all they talk about is fear and there's no hope. If you're in the third quarter of, 4 quarters in a football game, if you're in the third quarter and things are looking a little bit tough, you can turn this around, but you do have to take some necessary steps to make a difference. And for some, that step may be reducing your expenses by as much as you can. Now, again, Maxwell, who's in the chat, he's the financial guy in the East Coast. Check him out. He's got a great channel dropping excellent information. He has a great saying, and I love it. He says, don't go outside. That's what he says. Don't go outside. And you might be that person that you need to stay indoors in your house. Because he says every time you go outside, you are spending money. That's a 5 here and a 10 here and a 20 there. You're spending money. So stay inside. Don't go outside. That's a great saying. Stay inside, because we have to make some changes. If you're just joining along and just starting to follow me, I've made some changes over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and it first started up here, and it started with I was wasting time. Not only I was wasting time, but I wanted to be a little more productive in my retirement life and my retirement planning. But I started out there, and that may be something you want to do. Don't waste time. So now let's get to the best relationship for retirement. That all depends. That depends. And here's what that depends on. If you're financially well off and you made all the best decisions, or you got a windfall of money, you got an inheritance or something like that, that may be the best position for you to be in. But if you're a part of the group that's the mean group, right? That math phrase, the mean. So the greatest number of people fall within this category, and let's just we'll say that's we'll say that's 60. That's 30 to 60,000. So the greatest number of people fall into that 60 to 30,000. Well, if you want a buffer for later on in life, you may need some type of relationship. This may not be something that you can escape. Well, what if you are not interested in a relationship? Then you better get busy if you fall in the mean category. Because once you hit retirement, it's government cheese and the powdered milk for you, because you're not going to have enough to cover your expenses. And I'm sure people around you, while as nice as you are, they may not want you living with them. So if you're a single person, I would get up early and get busy, get after it, increase or start to increase, or however that works for you, put money into some other financial vehicle that will ease your retirement years from stressing about having enough money. It's better you do that today, and in retirement, you just break even with your expenses than come up short every single month. Now, have you ever been around somebody that they never have any money when you go somewhere? I've been around people that sometimes it's a little bit tight for them, but they always come back. And I've also been around a few that they just never have anything. And I observe from the outside, well, what are they up to? Apparently not much. So as far as the relationships goes, the best relationship for retirement is a relationship if some form of financial security is what you want to accomplish, because financial security in the future is an accomplishment that we work on today. So when we get there, it's there, ready, and yeah, it's there ready for us, right? As a single person, if you're in the 50-year-old category and you're in the 50-year-old age range and you fall in to the mean category of 30 to 60 grand, you know, closer to 60, you might be okay, but your retirement years are going to be expensive and your ability to earn goes down significantly just because of age. It's going to have, it hits us all. So then, that's the single person. If you're financially well off as a single person, then your retirement years may not be as worrisome, but then you might be lonely. I mean, at some point, people go away. So you could be lonely, even if you're financially well off. You might have some relationships, but nothing deep and meaningful. So this goes into my video number 3, relationships are a business. And sometimes there's love and sometimes there's not. But you could make a business relationship with somebody in your same income category and figure this thing out together. So at least you both have a standard of living that's not subpar, right? Government cheese and powdered milk. I think that's the shirt. No government cheese and powdered milk for me. Hopefully, if you've not taken into account that retirement will hit you at some point, then you make some changes. Now, I see a lot of people going, I see a lot of people hustling and doing what they can to earn additional income, and I think that's fantastic, and I think you should do what you need to do. I've also seen some people that are doing anything to close the gap on their monthly expenses. So whatever it is that you need to do, I would go ahead and get busy on that. So first, seek out some professional help, somebody you can talk to openly, even if it's a family member that you believe that they may be doing okay, or that they've openly said, oh yeah, you know, we have this retirement thing and that retirement thing, and it's looking pretty good. Talk to them. And don't be shy about this. There's no time to be shy or embarrassed about your current financial position. Like I said, between 22 and 24, I've earned $400,000 as a W-2 employee. Not sure what 25 is going to look like, but yet here I am. I am solving my own problems and just putting it on full display right here on YouTube. That way I can memorialize it, share the process with some of you guys, and then also let you know what I'm up to. Now, you may be able to see this little thermometer. That's my $1 million in 5 years. And so we're going to fill up that little bulb right there, and then it's going to climb up to $1 million. So when I walk into retirement, we're doing okay. So then, if being single enriches your plan to retirement, get busy. But if you're single and poor, you have to get busy in other single and poor, single and not broke, or less than adequate income, then you might want to think about relationships and think about a relationship as a business, even if it's just a platonic thing. And that doesn't have to be male, female. It could be female, female, or male, male. I mean, at least there's a sharing of the load, so you both benefit from the full outcome. There we go. So then, if you think relationships are a business, put something down in the chat. Yeah, Maxwell. Yep. If Maxwell says you need to have someone to share life with. So even if you're broke, and I'll tell you why this will resonate. Even if you're broke, somebody to share life with makes life a little more enjoyable. I know this because I see people that are unhoused in relationships because they want community. community of people around them. Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah. Even if you're broke, if you're in a relationship, that's not a bad deal. You're just broke and you're eating government cheese and drinking powdered milk together. At least you're experiencing that with somebody else. But if that's not your desire and you're still of the working age, some of the financial experts say you should put $1,000 a month for the next, if you're 50, for the next 15 years. And at that point, you'll have about $500,000. So part of that is savings and part of that is interest over time, compounding interest. He says it's still not enough, but at least you'll have warm, you'll have a warm bed and food to eat. And I think at that point, we have to wait it out until the end, until Jesus comes. But until then, if you're working hard, keep working hard. Connect with some people around you. Find a financial planner. Don't be embarrassed about where you are. Don't walk into this fearfully. Make some life decisions and some choices about how you use your time, effort, and energy. And stay inside. Don't go outside, because every time you go outside, you are spending money. And that is it's not a tried and true formula, but it's certain to be provable for anybody watching. So I think this is an interesting conversation, and continuing down this road it will be helpful. So if you're on the East Coast, check out Maxwell. He's got a great channel, and he's sharing good information, and he's been in the financial industry for 17 years and doing really well. He's doing well because he's helping people. I think that's a challenge for a lot of us. We might always think somebody is out to get something from us. Oh, that guy, he's trying to sell me something. And like, I have nothing to say. I have a couple of free forms that you can just fill out for yourself to start up something for yourself. And it actually could be helpful. You can use it to start a conversation and a dialogue with somebody local to you. And that's again, family member or some other financial professional close to where you are. Yeah, you can go to the links down in the description, or go to one of my other videos. There's some information there, and download something, get some help. This thing is coming upon all of us. And when it gets here, it's coming. So there's no going back, and you may be forced into it. So what is the best relationship for retirement? Well, generally speaking, the best relationship to have is a relationship with Jesus. Because, after retirement, and the lights settle for once and for all, we'll need another relationship. But on this side of eternity, having somebody to do life with that you can invest together with and build out a future together is a great advantage, because you improve your quality of life from the communal standpoint, and you improve your quality of life from the living standpoint. I hope all of this has been helpful for you. Feel free to reach out, send a note. Again, I'm not a financial planner. I'm just working through a process to solve for X, which is my own problem. How do I walk into retirement not eating government cheese and drinking powdered milk? So appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit, watching for a little bit, and I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to like, subscribe, and to share, or not. I really just don't care, because I am talking to myself to solve my own problems. Oh, and one last thing before I go. Part of this too is I don't want my kids to have to set up a GoFundMe account to pay for my final expenses. And I'm really talking to the men. If you're a working, able-bodied person. Get that end of life stuff, the end of life financials figured out sooner than later, because you may not have a chance later to do it. You may be disqualified. There's plenty of financial folks out there, plenty of insurance people out there that they're more than happy and willing to help you. But don't have your kids setting up a GoFundMe because you didn't properly plan and prepare for your final expenses. You just left it to them. So that's my big motivator. That's one of my big motivators, other than the government cheese and powdered milk. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Glad you guys joined. Glad to be having this conversation with you. It might have been a little bit all over the place to bring it home. So the best relationships for retirement are relationships. And hopefully they provide you with some encouragement, some uplifting presence, and hopefully there's some love there too. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Ciao.